What's up, guys? It is AntiMetaDoom, and I am back today with another build video. And today we are going to be talking about the first ever damage/support damage build. The unlimited hollow point ammo, the unlimited status effect build. Let's go ahead and let's jump right into it. So let's take a look at our gear set. First, we are running the ongoing directive set. Now, if you're not familiar, what this does is shooting a status affected enemy will apply a mark. Killing a marked enemy grants a full clip of hollow point ammo for your active weapon and half a clip of the agent's active weapon to the rest of the party. Now, the second part, and half a clip of the agent's active weapon to the rest of the party, is going to be very, very important as we go deeper into the build. So I want you to keep that in mind. So this mark lasts for 10 seconds. Hollow point ammo amplifies weapon damage by 20% and applies bleed to a hit. So that's what I mean by this being a damage/damage support build, because we're going to be handing out support damage because everyone's going to have plus 20% weapon damage and everyone's going to be applying bleed. So essentially everyone's going to be helping our build. Now, talking about the ongoing directive, we decided to go with the mask, the harness, as well as the holster. And on all these gear sets, all these gear pieces, we're going to be running weapon damage for our core attribute. And you pretty much want to make sure that that's maxed out because we want to make sure we're getting as much damage as we can. And for our attributes, we are going to be running status effect as well as skill haste on all three of those. So what that's going to allow us to do is get our abilities back quicker, and we want to make our status effects last longer. And why that's going to matter for our build is because with our ongoing directive, all we have to do is shoot one status affected enemy. So the longer that enemy has that status effect, the more chance we're going to have for us or our party members to get that hollow point ammo. So it's going to be very, very important that we have our skill haste and status effect high. We want to make sure our abilities are coming back quicker, and we want to make sure that they're lasting longer. So we also decided to go with the harness and keep that harness on instead of the book bag. Because we get parabellum rounds. So this increases the hollow point ammo weapon damage to 50%. Now that doesn't apply to the party, but that does apply to you. So again, just another way for you to pump out more damage when we have those hollow point ammo. And we're gonna always have hollow point ammo, so we're always gonna be doing plus 50% damage. So coming over to our backpack, we are running the Ninja Bike Messenger backpack. I mean, it's meta at this point. If you don't have one, you need to go and get one. And we have our core attributes. We get some more weapon damage, get some more armor. I really love that we get more armor with this piece because it allows us to be a little more tankier. And then we get that skill tier. Now that skill tier is important because again, it allows our skills to last longer, come back faster. Very, very important. And then again, we have our skill haste on there. Now, with the sets or the pieces that allow me to put on one attribute, I decided to go with skill haste because I want them to come back as soon as possible, because I always want to be able to apply a status effect with those skills at any point in time. So if you're not familiar with the Ninja Bike Messenger backpack, really all it does is, what it does is allows you to wear one less gear piece of a gear set and then get that attribute. So very, very useful, very, very meta. If you don't have one, go get one. So now we're going to round it up with our contractor's gloves. So if you take a look at our contractor's gloves, our brand set, we get LMG damage as well as weapon handling. And that's going to be important because we want to make sure that our LMG is doing, as much damage as we can. And that weapon handling is going to allow us to get some reloading in. So we want to make sure that we're putting as many rounds down range as we can. And the weapon handling is going to allow us to do that while also helping out with the recoil. So as you see, our core attribute, we have the weapon damage maxed out. Again, that's where a lot of our damage is coming from. And then on our attributes, we got a pretty good drop on this with the +8 damage to armor. Really couldn't let that go, had to keep that, as well as the maxed out status effect. So again, just gonna make sure that our skills are lasting long as they can. Now we go into our knee pads, and we are running the name brand, the Grease knee pads, Shiny Monkey in the Shiny Monkey gear. And again, that's going to give us skill duration as well as skill efficiency. So again, we're making sure that our skills are coming back faster. We want to make sure that they're lasting longer. And then you take a look at our attributes. Again, status effects, skill haste, making sure that same thing, skills lasting longer, coming back faster. So let's jump down and let's talk about our skills. Now, first, let's look at the Blinder Firefly. This is one of the skills that I would not suggest you swapping out, and here's why. Now, with this skill, the most important aspect of it is it has a max of 6 targets. So what that means is at the beginning of any fight or during any fight, I can apply a status effect to at least 6 targets. And when just one of those targets are eliminated by me or my party members, we're going to get that hollow point ammo. So this is going to be great in situations where you're fighting a tankier enemy, you've unloaded the whole clip on them, and then, you hit them with that blinder, or you hit someone else around them with the blinder, take that enemy down, get more hollow point, and you can continue that fight with those hollow point ammos. So very, very important. I would not suggest swapping this out. Now, coming over to our Seeker Mind, this is one that you could swap out if you find something that has a shorter cooldown, or that you just prefer more. But I went with this Seeker Explosive Mind because the cooldown is relatively short at 20 seconds. You really won't feel that in a battle. But the most important thing is it applies bleed. So again, this is just another situation where we have a status effect coming out in less than a minute, and we can apply that status effect to a target, and then we can eliminate that target. And what are we going to get for eliminating that target? You guessed it, hollow point rounds for yourself and the party. So very, very important. And I chose these two skills particularly because they are ranged skills, so I can be safely behind cover and I can perform these skills at a safe distance, and it's going to give me that bleed effect, it's going to give me that status effect, it's going to give me whatever that I'm applying to them. So that's why I went with those skills. I do think they are important to the build, but essentially what you really want to do is apply status effect as quick as possible. So now let's go up to what makes this whole thing go boom: the blue screen. I would not suggest swapping this weapon out. You might think like, I can run the St. Elmo's, I can run a Chameleon, I can run a Pestilence. None of them are going to work with this build like the blue screen does. So let's take a look at ours. We have a +7 expertise, and then we have maxed out LMG damage, +12 damage to target out of cover, +6 damage to armor. I mean, this is just a big boy go boom roll. And then one of the most important parts is, look at that magazine size. Our magazine size is at 200. So now when we come back and we look at our ongoing directive build, what happens? And have a clip of the agent's active weapon to the rest of the party. What is half of 200? 100. So that means at any given time, your team is going to have +100 hollow point ammo. Very, very important for this build because it allows your party members to continually apply bleed. And what happens when someone eliminates a target with a status effect? You get more hollow point ammo. So not only are you going to be applying that bleed and those status effects, but your teammates are also going to be applying that status effect. So very, very important. And then we come down to the disruptor rounds. Now, again, this is another reason why the blue screen is perfect for this build. Let's take a look at the disruptor rounds. Shooting an enemy marks that enemy and adds a stack to the agent up to a count of 50. Shooting a marked enemy refreshes the mark and adds a stack to the agent. When you deploy a non-shield skill, what we have, remove all stacks on agent and all marked targets trigger an effect. So essentially what's happening is you just want to shoot at a target. That's it. That's it. You want to shoot at a target. And then when you deploy a skill after hitting that target so many times, one of these four things is going to happen. 1 through 10, a pulse. So you shoot them 1 through 10 times. You shoot them 11 through 25 times, a pulse and a disrupt. You shoot them 26 through 49 times, pulse, disrupt, and disorient. And if you hit them 50 times, which we can do with the 200 round mag, they are going to get all three of those and mark targets and all hostiles within 10 meters of the marked targets for 5 seconds. This effect will trigger immediately if any marked enemy is killed. So essentially, you're going to be able to apply a status effect to that target and anyone in a 10-meter radius of that target. And if you kill one of those enemies with that marked target, it immediately triggers. So if you eliminated a target essentially with one of those status effects, it's going to spread to another target. So very, very, very important for this build, because you're going to be in situations where you have someone coming in on you and gaining ground on you, and you eliminate that target, and then it spreads to the targets around them. So now they're disrupted, and now you have some time to move to cover, do whatever else you need to do, apply a skill, whatever the case may be. So very, very important. One of the main reasons why this build works is the blue screen, and I would not suggest swapping it out. So let's take a look at our stats here. And the stats really don't tell the type of damage that you're doing, but I think it's important to take a look at them. Have 140,000 weapon damage. You're going to notice our critical hit chance and critical hit damage, those are not that high because we're not depending on that for the damage. We do have 83 headshot damage, which is pretty good. Now, a very sneaky important aspect of this build is our reload time being 1.6 and our reload speed bonus. And we're going to talk a little bit about that when we talk about the specialization that we're using. But that's very important because it allows us to get more rounds down range, essentially. You know, we can shoot off those 200 rounds and we can be back laying down another 200 rounds, real quick. So very sneaky important aspect of this build. And then as you can see, we have our weapon damage. Most important is our light machine gun damage. That's at 40%. And come down to our defense. So we're not really tanky, but we can take a few shots, with our armor being at 900,000. So, obviously you can't stand out and tank rounds, but, you can get hit, armor break, and you have enough time to get into cover. So then we come down, we look at our skills. Our firefighters at 67.5 skill haste, real easy. We kind of we looked at these a little bit when we were looking at our skills. That blind duration is at 11, so really long time to have that status effect on them. And then again, same thing with our secret mine, bleed duration at 12.3, 67.5 skill haste. Surprisingly it does pack a little punch with the 1.4 million damage. And then we have our bleed damage or our tick damage at about 57,000. So those are the stats. Again, it doesn't show up that well on paper. It shows up okay on paper, but it's really gonna show in the gameplay. So let's take a look at our specialization. And we are running the gunner. Now, a few things make the most sense when we, pick the gunner. And the most important things, I believe, are the supply line. Generate 10% of total ammo capacity every 60 seconds. So we're getting more ammo. And what does more ammo mean? More hollow point ammo. And our party members recover 5%. So again, more hollow point ammo for them. Now, rate of fire increases by 5% on kill for 5 seconds. Again, very important for the build because we are now hitting them with a lot more bleed damage, a lot more headshot damage. Essentially, it's going to allow us to shred that armor. And again, one of the low key, really sneaky important aspects in placement, 10% weapon handling while not moving. Need to be motionless for a second. Essentially, you stop moving, you reload, you are going to have a quicker reload because of the weapon handling. Very important when you are running the light machine gun because, you know, we want to make sure that we are getting more rounds down range and we have more ammo. Now, when we talk about these, the group signature ammo acquisition as well as the minigun ammo acquisition, these are important because, you know, it allows our ammo bars to go up a lot quicker. So very easy to do with that 200 round magazine. The riot grenades are okay, not really, you know, that important to the build. Killing enemies grants 10% armor. That's good because it allows us to be a little more tankier. And then this is one of the big ones. Every third reload is 50% faster. Again, allowing us to get rounds down range, more hollow point ammo, more bleed, more status effect, rinse and repeat. So that is our specialization. So that's the build there, guys. I really wanted to kind of go into detail so you kind of have a good idea of what that gameplay loop looks like and how it's going to work in the game. So we are going to wrap this up with a little gameplay footage so you can see how it looks in something like the Summit or in a heroic mission. So like and comment. Let me know what you think down below, guys. Is this a good build? What can I do different? Do you think another weapon would be better for this? Should I use another specialization? You know, or should I be using different gold pieces of gear? So let me know down in the comments what you think of the build. Let me know if you try it out, how you like it. You already know what to do. Like, subscribe, comment, all that good stuff. I will see you next time. Enjoy the gameplay.